Welcome back to the Virgo channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to the channel, I'm going to do a general message for Virgo. Know that energy is fluid, so roles could be reversed, but interpret the message as it best resonates with you. Also know on this channel, I like to dive deep within the reading, so I do look at everything, but we take a lot more time to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, and see how they play those karmic themes. This will allow you to understand why things are playing out the way that they are. Really, most of the time we're connected to karmics. We're not connected to soulmate twin flame. Sometimes we can be, and lately the readings actually have been a lot soulmate twin flames. Um, but the majority of times, the most relationships that I can honestly say that we date are karmic. Now, it's not always past life karmic that bring in those doozies of lessons, but it's just karmic. They teach us something. They show us a different perception. They come into our life for a season and just to pretty much show us something about ourselves or something about a situation, a perception that we have, and then leave. Again, that's the full significance of the connection. However, a lot of times these connections, they still affect us because then we're looking at ourselves saying, well, why did that person leave? We don't understand. So diving deep into the readings and understanding the type of connection that you're in and what is the spiritual significance? How is it relevant to your healing and how you can actually transcend limitations of your mind? And that's important when we have spiritual blocks. Spiritual blocks are psychological and emotional blocks created from experiences that we've lived. And then it's held, that energy is actually held within our body. So until we actually fully integrate the spiritual lesson, which is understanding why we attracted that person into our life, what were we supposed to learn, and then actually transmuting the negative energy, we really cannot transcend the limitations of ourselves. So then what winds up happening is we continue to create the same types of experiences. We keep reliving the same type of karmic theme, which is what gives us the perception that we're not good enough, that we don't have enough. It keeps us in a place of disempowerment, which is the opposite of our true energy. Our true energy, our God-given energy, is unconditional love. We're all born perfect without any perception that there is anything wrong with us or anyone within the world, that everything is in divine order because babies haven't lived any experiences yet. So we all inherit family karma, and then we and family karma has already inherited their ancestral karma. And then on top of it, you are accumulating your own karma. And karma, again, is not really, not bad from a spiritual perception. It just is, where we tend to identify what's good and bad. And that's usually through how much emotional pain or physical pain something puts us in. We tend to contribute it as bad. So understand, again, there's many different realities that play it at one time, and karma just means learn. Unfortunately, the more painful the experiences, the more that we tend to remember what karma is. We learn, we really truly learn through pain and suffering because we don't want to experience it again, right? We see the consequences. So this is what this channel is about, not just about whether your person is going to come back, but hopefully so that you can heal the effects of your trauma that has occurred way before this person ever came into your life. Now, if you want to enter into winning a free reading with me, you gotta like the video, subscribe to the channel, write the word of the video in your comment bar. The word of the video is always on the first card that I pull out. It's the underlining energy that tells us why everyone's doing what they're doing. I also want to just let you know that my life coaching is now open. The link is in the description box. And so if you're someone that is in need of inner child healing, shadow healing, reparenting, and all the healing modalities to heal the effects of trauma, which means that you have to recondition your nervous system, There's a lot of times detachment. So we have to integrate the body and mind again so that they work together. There's a lot of side effects from trauma that our society doesn't talk about. You know, trauma looks a lot like ADHD, learning disability. If you can't logically figure something out because you're in a place of survival, well, again, survival mind doesn't care about figuring out anything, a math problem, or what your reading comprehension is. In fact, what winds up happening is your memory shrinks to the fact that you don't have a memory. I know. I grew up in trauma. So my channel is all about the healing and the teachings that I have went through, I have learned, I've experienced. So again, master healer, that's what that means. The art of healing through healing yourself of the psychological and the emotional damage that's done. So again, I grew up in an environment that was really imbalanced, that my father had cancer 8 times, 8 or 9 times. We don't really even know. By the end of his life, it just kept happening in other areas of his body. But the first time he got cancer was 42 years old. And he was a brilliant man. He skipped grades in school. He was the nicest guy you'd ever want to meet. Just wasn't nice to himself. And my mother was as mentally and emotionally sick as my father was physically sick. So she tried to kill me several times. I was her biggest trigger. And so again, my memory, I don't really have a memory because survival mode, I lived most of my childhood in survival mode. Psychological trauma is because I was ignored. I was treated like I was that there was something wrong with me. So I began to adapt habits and behaviorisms that were in alignment with what my environment was telling me. So I began not to try. I began to look at the world through a very scary and distorted lens, and I formed habits and behaviorisms. So the habits and the behaviorisms that I most talk about are things that I've actually witnessed, have embodied myself. And I know firsthand that healing is all about the integration process and the transmutation process. And then you understand why everything happens. And when you understand why everything happens, you can then say, this isn't because I'm defective. It's not because there's something wrong with me. It's because there's a bigger meaning to life. And that bigger meaning to life is that we're not here by mistake. We're all here by God's greatest design. We're all a part of that design. And through your soul's path, your life's path, and your gifts and talents, you're able to create your heaven on earth. You're able to. When one day heaven will be on earth, it's through the consciousness of man. Is that when we awaken to our true potentiality, and that is only obtained through, again, getting to the Christ consciousness, which is a place of unconditional love. All emotions are derived from unconditional love. However, when we live in these experiences that are traumatic, then we are not coming from our true self, our higher self. We're coming from a place of fear. And then we are manifesting everything that's derived from fear, such as lack, such as not enough, such as, anything from a fear-based consciousness. And you'll also experience negative emotions. That's how you'll know that you are spiritually imbalanced and need healing, that you need clearing. We've come to a place within our evolution that I do believe that we have to heal the effects of our trauma. We have to learn how to clear ourselves of any spiritual blockages, and our society doesn't teach about the spiritual realm. It's very limited. It teaches only through the logical, analytical mind, but many of us are clairsentient, and we don't learn through that way. We learn by doing, by embodying. So It's not that we should get rid of the logical analytical mind, but the survival mind is where the logical analytical mind is. So we have to put it in balance, and we can only balance it if we have the spiritual mind, the psychic mind. That's the inner knowing, claircognizance and clairsentient, which is, I don't know how I knew that. And I just feel it in my gut. Those languages, when we balance those two, then we are actually embodying both our masculine and our feminine energies. So that's what we're supposed to be able to do. But what you'll see is a lot of imbalances within the relationships because our society and the experiences that people live that gives them the perception that there's something wrong with them. So they look for the answer outside, they create masks and personas, and that's what we're going to look at. So again, if you want to enter into winning a free reading with me, like the video, subscribe to the channel, write the word of the video in the comment bar. That will be in the comment bar along with the coaching link, my website link, and all other important information. The word of the video is reactive. I'm going to pull another one just because. That's because I want a little bit more information. You don't have to write the 2 words in. Fear. I feel like you're connected to someone that has trauma, that has gone through trauma, that they don't listen, that they didn't really listen to you when you said something. They reacted, and they reacted not from really what you said. It was they kind of listened to it, but they didn't. It was more less that this person was getting antagonized, I feel like, by somebody else, by a karmic, someone that they're connected to. And they were being antagonized by that person. And you asked them a question and they were reactive. They didn't. And then I also feel like you said something to them along the lines of that you wish that they would have shown up for you. And that could have been through a birthday, it could have been through like you went through a difficult time. It could have been anything. You wanted them to show up for you, and they got reactive to that. And so what they made it sound like was they weren't good enough friends with you. And so now they're in a place of fear because they actually shut the door on this connection because you never came back. It took them a long time to figure out why you walked away. They thought you were being toxic, but really they were the ones that were being toxic, and they didn't realize that they were being toxic because again they were reacting not from you, but like I said, it's that they're living around somebody, or at the time they were living around someone that was antagonizing them continuously, like probably saying the same thing that you were saying, which is you don't show up for me. You'd show me that you don't care. I don't really know where you're coming from. Like this person hears it a lot. It's like because and part of that they enjoy that. But because then, you have to ask. And then that makes them feel like, oh, desirable. But in this particular instance, they weren't like that. They actually got reacted and they were nasty. So let's see how they were when you were dealing with them, to the point that you actually had to say something to them. Like, what happened? It's like, again, just not really acting, very slow to act. And I feel like that's this person still now. And it's because they don't know what to do. It's like, they tend to overthink everything. They get in their own way. They make something huge out of nothing. And they also wait too long to make a move. And because of that, you're getting to the point where you're like, I don't even want this anymore. And it's because I feel like this person is deliberately trying to like hold back so that you go to them, which it's like pathetic. It's like that's a person that's really like out of fear consciousness. It's like I'm gonna sit here and wait. They don't realize that they pretty much like ruin the connection just from doing that. of like trying to keep you in the dark to not knowing what was going on in their life. And I feel like they were trying to hide things from you. And that's how it always was. It's like this person usually gets people to make the first move, usually gets people to do all the work, and they do a lot of hinting. They come on in and they act like it, but then they usually expect the person to come in and do everything. This way they're not responsible. That didn't happen with you. You didn't fall for that because you knew that they were keeping you in the dark because you're like you're not really offering me anything. It's a lot of words, but I don't see any action. Like your words and your actions don't match. So it's like you could almost like feel like what they were doing. And so again, then you just feel like in order for this person to get you to talk to them, because they don't want to talk to you, they don't want to ask you anything, they don't want to do anything. This person's on a low vibration. They're going to generate so much drama again, where they make a big deal over like this instead of them just like being transparent and saying, hey, this is what I want. But the reason why is because I don't feel like this person really wants to offer you anything. Because it's like what I see here is a person that's slow to act, that doesn't want to let you into their life, is keeping you in the dark. And then, in order for them to actually get a rise from people, they create a lot of drama, which is really exhausting. And it also takes the focus off of whatever you're doing. So, what you saw is like this person might bring in like other people, like triangles, like create triangles. So talk to a lot of different people and then drop your name. And then that insecure person that they're talking to, because no one's going to give this person time if they're not going to give anything in return. The only people that are a lower hanging fruit, right? So then that lower hanging fruit looks at this person as if they're a good catch because they're buying the facade, and then that person goes and contacts you, befriends you. And meanwhile, this person knows exactly who they're talking to and they know exactly what they're doing. So it's again, they don't want to talk. They don't want to talk to you, but they want to see how you're going to react. And then if you're going to react to it and say, hey, why are you dropping my name? They're going to say, don't tell me who I can talk to and who I can't talk to. Like it's like almost like you're jealous of who they're talking to. When meanwhile, you're not jealous because they're not giving you anything. So it's like they're like having this like dialogue almost with themselves and then trying to project that you act a certain way because they're assuming that you're going to act a certain way. And it's like just a lot of drama to get absolutely nothing. To get nothing. That's what that is. Like, because this person's not going to give anything. It's just a lot of games. It's a lot of games to keep you on the hook. So maybe again, if I get drunk, I can call you up and then we can hook up. But they're not giving anything. Because you might say, why would this person even do all that? It's exhausting. Well, as long as they have participants, that it feeds their ego, keeps you constrained, gives up your power. Again, that's what this person pretty much wants. It's again, by all their games, they're hoping that you will like surrender your boundaries. Really. And what they're going to do is they're going to do a lot of intermittent manipulation, which is when a person comes in and out of your life and they train you and they train you. And if you stay connected to a person like this, it diminishes your self-esteem. And it does because this person is, going to be giving you love sometimes coming in for passion and then out, connecting to other people. And that again is how they can constrain you. So this is what this person like started to do, but I don't feel like you allowed them to like to do it because like you saw, like this is just who they are. And they act unaware, like when and hoping that you're unaware, but you were not unaware. It's like you saw exactly what they were doing. It's like you're not really offering anything. You create a lot of drama with your inconsistency and not keeping me like in the loop of what's really going on in your life. You create a lot of drama to keep me constrained and think that I'm unaware of what you're doing. And that's pretty much what it was, which is so stupid, but it's because this person feels inadequate. So they always have to, again, pretend that they're the authority. But really, again, they're not the authority. They want to come across as if they're the authority. And a lot of people will go along with it. Again, lower hanging fruit that believe in the facade, that go for the games when you're like, all you want is my body. It's like all you want is the physical. You don't want anything emotional from me. You're not investing any time in me. You're treating me exactly like you're treating the lower hanging fruit. And that's again, and it did piss you off, and now it pisses this person off because you're not falling for it. And so now this person knows that they're going to be in your life. They have to actually come in and offer something. And I'm sure that makes them angry because, hey, they sure like had you picked for someone that you weren't. And this person like makes you angry because it's like they stay in a place of feeling inadequate because this is how they want to conduct their relationships. They know that they don't offer anything. So the relationship doesn't grow. You're not growing. This person's not growing. They're not educating themselves by learning something new. They're not connecting to meaningful connections that are intimate and grow that way. This person is just like staying in this low frequency, and that's why they're angry. So it's again, this person sees you as like an overachiever. So, being connected to them makes them look good. They like to also be seen as they're an overachiever, but I feel like they don't come across like that anymore. I feel like this person sabotages themselves in a lot of areas of their life. Stress. It's like this is where they are. They were hoping that you were going to be stressed out. I was asking like what's this person going to do? What are they? I also feel like this person tends to like when they do get into connections, they can like actually overgive and overdo and lose themselves in the actual connection. So this is why they no longer like get into those type of relationships. Instead, they throw themselves into work. So that is why they can also be seen as an overachiever, where really this person is totally afraid of rejection. So if they never offer it, they'll never reject it, right? But it keeps you in a place of feeling rejected, and they don't look at that. So remember, this is a one-sided, imbalanced relationship. That's what this is, where the person really has a lack of who they are, but they're going to project that lack onto you, and they're going to do so by giving you very little and making you feel really insignificant, where it would leave you empty. And where they're again impulsive. So again, impulsive, reactive. That's how this started. So what we will see here is a lot of addictive behavior because this person plays games, but they're also lazy, not really knowing what to do and not really wanting to do. Because like I said, this person is like angry also because they know if they're going to be in your life that you'd expect something. They can't come in the same way that they left. They don't get the same version. This is what they know. And they'd also feel foolish for having to come back after treating you horribly. Where again, this person like doesn't really know what to do with. I feel like they might not have an eating disorder, but I feel like they overeat. They have, they have a very indulgent behavior. I told you addictions was going to be there. It is. It's like, it's any which way to suppress the emotions. Because this person is seeing it's again like everything that they did. And now, like I said, they would want to have you back in their life. I'm almost positive because why would they even be? We're going to look and see. But I feel like why would they even care, about looking stupid, about coming back? They're thinking about it, but they're again reflecting back on all their behavior. And like I said, this person's lazy. They don't really want to put in that much effort. And you would have expectations. You'd have expectations now, where before there was no expectations. You just really cared about this person. And that's the thing. They lost the innocence of the connection because of the games that they played. I wish I could turn back the clock and do things over. I told you, like this person is like, I don't even know how I would come back from that. And it's like they really can't come back from that. I'm battling inner demons, and the inner demons is the addictions, like we can see, and the feeling of lack, and everything that they did that was in alignment with that. So this person has a lot of issues. There is someone keeping me from you. Again, the karmic, I feel like, may still be lingering. So where this person suffers from codependency. So there it's like they know that they have to leave. They know that they don't really have a connection to that person clearly. Um, they've been telling everybody they've been getting out of that situation since the beginning of time, but they don't do anything to make that a reality. And so I feel like this person, like that was really the problem. This person came into your life before they fully disconnected. I believe that the connection is over. It's just a weird codependency that allows this person to stay in a lower vibration with their addictions and being lazy. They don't have to do anything. So it's like they don't, because there's a sense of I don't want to come in there and give you anything. And I don't want to do that because I've already invested so much here, even though this doesn't work anymore and I'm not really in a relationship, though I'm going to get out of a relationship. This person doesn't know what they're doing. They just choose to stay in a lower vibration. But that explains why they create a lot of drama within the relationship, because they can't give anything. That's why they're slow to act. That's why they don't offer anything, because of that karmic. So they get everybody else to do the work. So they thought you were that person. See, it's like, and now what they're seeing is you are not that person. And this again, obstacles. This person that sees nothing but obstacles in their way. And it's because if you really knew who they were, you wouldn't like them. You wouldn't like them at all. And that's what this person knows. They know that's why they play all the games that they do. They're connected to a karmic that I feel like lingers, is there. There's some sort of weird commitment that's, you know, based on this person being able to do whatever the hell they want to do. It's like it's a weird thing. And you're not going to stay in a low vibration like that. That's really what it is. This person sees too many obstacles. I wish I'd treated you better, even from a different deck. Like they regret treating you badly. I'm sure that they would wanted to be your friend. I'm sure that they wouldn't have. I feel you leaving me behind. So it's again, they see you moving on with your life. And it's almost like they're watching it because they can't come in at your level until they get rid of the karmic or whoever is keeping them from you. If it's not a karmic, it could be a karmic, but karmic could be a friend, it could be work situation, it could be anything. It doesn't necessarily mean a person, but it's someone that your person hides behind. So again, the overachiever, this person seen maybe as an overachiever, but in that, then they're a slave to work and they hide behind work. So it's again so that they don't have to deal with their life. But at the end of the day, this person is really coming from a lack, because where are the emotional connections? It's like they're empty. So they really don't have anything to offer. That's why the relationship would always be imbalanced. This person's terrified of rejection. So it's okay for them to make you feel rejected, right? That's what this person tries to do. They try to trigger you to maneuver the connection to see what you'll do almost. So I don't really see this going anywhere. I just see that it was a karmic connection, that you connected to someone that was on a low vibration, that you might say, well, why would this person come into my life? So again, if they never had anything to offer, these people will go into everybody's life, but it's how much time you give them. We look at not what they did, but we look at how you contributed to this, how long you stayed in this, like how long you stayed connected to a person like this is what we need to look at. Because this person will go to anybody that's going to talk to them, any pretty face, any good looking face, whoever they think that is that they can, create a little bit of passion with, and not any type of commitment. It's like you said, that's who they are. They live their karma every day because they don't have the confidence to change. So their life isn't good. They're getting artificial happiness by using people, and eventually that brings other karmic consequences. So really, and the person isn't creating a life, and they're going to see everybody else's life is going to move forward and has meaningful connections, and that from this person's not doing that. So there's karmic consequence. A lot of times people say, oh, well, this person doesn't get any karma. They get karmic, they're living it. But eventually, like, there'll be bigger karmic consequences, such as you're going to get a sexually transmitted disease if you sleep around like that. Again, here for a good time, not a long time. You're not going to have anyone really there for you in your time of need. And as we get older, we need that. So we have to say, why did you attract this person into your life? What's the whole point? You're a magnet of who and what comes into your life. So we look at the inner child wounds, because those inner child wounds have a theme, and that theme is played out within the experiences of your life. And you're going to see it. And so you see, number one, support, a lack of support. Well, this person didn't give any support at all. You had to become your own support. And maybe there was a lot of fear behind that. Oppression, being raised by no support, but the support that there was someone that was oppressing you, keeping you down, holding you down. And that could be by emotionally manipulating you, psychologically manipulating you, telling you that you're no good, that there's something wrong with you, that you're not enough, that you're an embarrassment, that shames you. Again, oppressions like that. And then there's also punishment when you have abusive parents that are angry, that are narcissistic, that like to see you in pain. They project pain. And so oppression is part of that. Like, I don't want to see you have your day. I don't want to see you have, you don't deserve anything. That's what this person made you feel too. They tried to keep you down, and they tried to make you feel like you didn't deserve anything. Tried to treat you as if you were less than what you really were. Lies and secrecies, again, being told lies. And obviously the secret of growing up that way, because you're not going to advertise it to everybody, the abuse that you're going through. Back in the day, if you told people about the abuse, they told you that they didn't want to hear it, or they told you that it wasn't really that bad, or that you shouldn't really care, or again, some other nonsense that tells you to just ignore who you are, ignore what your needs are. The people would not validate that type of trauma. They didn't want to hold space. Like, I don't really want to hear it. And so again, it becomes a secret because, hey, no one wants to hear about it. So it's I have to believe the lies that I'm told about myself every day, that I'm not good enough, that I'm not worthy, that a parent was keeping me down psychologically and emotionally. So there really wasn't any support. It's like I couldn't go to anybody for support for what the things that I needed, that was you. And you were made to feel as if you were misunderstood, where I don't really feel like people misunderstood you. I feel like they would pretend that they misunderstood you because, again, I don't want to be bothered. So, there was misunderstanding. Like I told you that I needed that. Oh, I didn't hear it right. Again, that you're continually misunderstood, which is just again, a form of gaslighting, which made you have a very strong intuition. See, because the God part of self is that deity part of self that says, yes, you're down in the physical world to learn that you're an expression of me, which is unconditional love, but you were born into family karma. And, you know, there's a lot of anger. And unfortunately, hurt people hurt people. And, you know, that that parent that felt that they were oppressed, well, they projected all that pain onto you. And so Spirit says, so, I help you get through it because, again, that's how you get a stronger psychic ability. Because, again, the environment, is telling you one thing, but again, you know something else. And so you have to listen more to your gut. You have to listen more to your heart. You have to listen more to, again, and you begin to become the strongest person, because what you're seeing is when you listen to that, the higher self, you get good results. And that the inner authority becomes so strong. It becomes so strong, it actually you become a leader. Like you might have started off in a fear, so fearful, because again, of a parent that was oppressing you and not being able to turn anywhere, like just needing to take it day in, day out, day in, day out. And it was like organized chaos. You got things done, but living with someone like that is chaos. So again, you're not going to learn that well in that type of environment because, again, the survival mind takes over and the amygdala swells up, the survival brain swells up, and your memory diminishes, and your psychic ability becomes stronger, but your analytical mind does not. So again, that your brain is like putty. It's continually being molded, being shaped to the experiences that you're living. It's creating neurological pathways. That is actually what creates reactive behavior. A lot of times, if we're not present, we get triggered, we react. That's what happened with this person. You said something, and it was something that really wasn't bad. It was actually something nice, and this person saw it as an attack, not because of you, but because that's what they've been around. Not really listening, not really present. Anchor, we see it again, a lack of support. So again, your higher chakras were opened. And so your intuition, became very strong, but you needed to ground during this time. Spirit says you can't go back in time. However, like to become the full expression of yourself is what you needed to do. Because again, oppression means you weren't allowed to be yourself. Someone told you who you were, and who you were was nothing. And due to, again, that abusive person that projected all their pain onto you. So Spirit's saying is that you were oppressed. So you have to create your own support. And that's by really being the anchor for yourself. And that's by creating yourself. Again, I say it in every video. That's always part of it, to be the expression of love, of unconditional love. So that, again, you can then live your bliss. See, it's again, lies and secrecy. It's like you're not a lie, you're not a secret, you're not the experiences of the past. However, if there was so much trauma in the past, you didn't create new experiences. You wouldn't have, any perception of what else is out there for you, is what Spirit is saying. Spirit's saying, like, that's the issue. It's you need to like go out into the world, and but you can go out into the world and discover who you are. You have to really become yourself. And like I said, we do that by creating ourselves because you don't know what you want. And it's okay to not know what you want. Finding out what you want is a process. And so, again, it's easier to find out what you want when you create the support, however. So you can join a bunch of different things, get support from, again, the things that you are interactive in. So if you go to the gym, you can make friends there. If you, again, belong to any clubs there. If not, then you should. It's, again, you always want to create the support. There's a lack of support when we grew up with parents that, they weren't healthy enough to take care of themselves. They were spiritually sick. So understand you have to create that. So that's what gives you confidence. That's what, and sometimes we can find support in not the places that you'd think. You say, oh, your friends and family might not want to even be that type of support. But by becoming yourself and throwing yourself into the passions of your life, you find your support. And that's really what Spirit's saying. It's like you need to recreate the support, because anchor and support means like you have no anchor. You, again, daydream a lot. There was a lot of like, you weren't manifesting a life for yourself. You too were keeping it in your mind. And maybe you were doing some stuff for work, but Spirit says not enough. You had to ground yourself. And that's by becoming more of yourself because of that energy, and don't get in your own way. Don't overthink. Listen to your inner authority. Let your spirit guide you. And that's really what it is, because when you are co-creating with the universe, you're doing what you love and you're interactive with people. And as you're growing and learning and taking the advice of other people, and they might say, hey, take this class. That class goes with what you're doing, what you're learning. Or, one thing leads to another, leads to another, leads to another. We never know how our unfoldment is going to look. However, we can guarantee that the universe will show us step by step by step, and that everything's in divine order. So a lot of times we're like, oh my God, it's taking forever. And Spirit says, my time is always divine time, that don't judge your process. And so you are in a process of needing to manifest and believing that you could manifest, and by giving it the amount of time, love, and energy and support, and being guided by your inner authority. Spirit says that's all you needed. And to listen to that gut and then set the bound and keep on grounding yourself. Spirit says, because you're going to manifest. And that's going to allow you to see yourself differently. And then you're going to feel really good about yourself, and you're not going to even want to be connected to this person because they're not on your vibration. It's like they're not capable. They're like, they stay stuck. They choose to stay stuck. They choose so that they can, do their addictions and run around and, never grow up. Peter Pan syndrome. That's what we see here. And so Spirit says you don't want to be connected to that. And we leave off with one more message. I feel like this one was a long one. I don't know how long, but I feel like it was long. Let's see. And the last one is joy. Spirit says again, find your joy. Like a child, discover joy in the simplicity of life. Happiness lies in magical moments, not in the material. Even the smallest joy is a great source of light. So Spirit says, by finding your joy, again, and I feel like that's by going out into the world, discovering what you love to do is going to obviously bring you joy, and then connecting to other people brings you joy, and just being spiritually balanced where you're like planted on the earth and feel connected to the people on the earth because you're doing what you love, and that's what connects you to the people on the earth. And you're continually getting that in divine guidance through the higher self, because as long as we're interactive in our life and balanced in our own life, well, again, we're going to always hear that intuition. We're always going to recognize the gut and intuition. The problem comes is that when life becomes difficult, when there's not enough money, when there's not enough resources, when we get into a place of lack, it's very difficult to change that mindset. And we can only change it by doing something different, by becoming something different, and understand there's always a space, meaning that it doesn't happen right away to change. The space is between what you sow to what is reaped, right? That's what it comes down to. So you have to be mindful that and understand that everything's in divine order. That might be difficult if you had parent that was like oppressed you, and then this person tried to oppress you. There's always going to be a feeling like you can't have it, like it's not going to happen, like someone's going to stop you, someone's going to ruin it, someone's going to take it away. And understand, Spirit says no one can take what's yours. It actually, that's a scripture that's written in the Bible. No one can take what's yours. Only you can give away what's yours. And that's by forfeiting it. And I bet you in every religion, there's a scripture part that says pretty much the same thing, that no one can take what God has set aside for you. It's that we forfeit it. We don't think that we're deserving of it. We don't get up and take it. We ask permission for it, where Spirit says, don't ask permission. Don't feel bad. Just get up and take it. That's simple. So you weren't in a high enough vibration, Spirit's saying, and not because of who you are, but because too much of the energy of the past, not enough of who you are today. You haven't created enough of who you are today. Doesn't mean you don't have a job. What it means is life is a little bland, and Spirit says it doesn't need to be. It's that, but understand, bland is going to attract somebody that's in that vibration, which is a low vibration. And unfortunately, bland is a better energy than the person that you're connected to, because the person that you're connected to is just selfish. Like they're selfish. They're too afraid to be transparent. So they play a lot of games. I'm going to leave that there. You let me know how you resonated with this one, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.